What's going on, everybody, and welcome to the Wrestling Radar Podcast, Episode 2, here on Ram Nation Radio. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in again for the second week of this show. I am your host, Ryan Moderano, alongside my brother, Nick Moderano. Nick, how you doing?
I'm doing good, Ryan. We had a great week of wrestling, a lot of big shows, a lot of big moments, and can't wait to sit here and talk about them.
Yeah, a ton of big shows, a lot of things going on in the wrestling world. As always, I mean, there's always something going on in the wrestling world, which is why it's the best. I mean, there's just nothing like it. Always something going on, always something to talk about. We had Super Showdown this past weekend from Australia. Nick, thank God it's over because I'm sick and tired of hearing about it and seeing the build for it.
Don't worry, Ryan, because now that build's over, the Crown Jewel build starts. So
yeah,
from one to the other, you don't get a break.
It never ends. It absolutely never ends. But I did not get up at 5 a.m. to watch the show.
Nope.
I know you didn't either. You had work, so you saw bits and pieces. Did watch it later on. But what did you think overall of the Super Showdown?
I mean, for what it was, you could really tell, like, they haven't been to Australia. I can't remember what the exact year was, Michael Cole said, but, I mean, they haven't done a show there in very long. So for a lot of these people, it was kind of just a chance to see their favorite wrestlers that they have never seen, probably some of them, unless they travel to WrestleMania for, something like that. Mm-hmm. But it was a decent show. I think if you watched live, you might have gotten bored, but if you watched after the fact and kind of picked and choose what you wanted to see, it was a decent show.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really think I expected much to begin with. We knew what the card was going into it. It wasn't a terrible card at all. Not something I wanted to wake up for to watch because I didn't think it had a lot of importance. But, there were some cool moments, and I want to, break it down, not match by match because some of the matches just don't really care about. Some of the tag matches in the beginning. I know the New Day opened up the show with the bar. That was for the SmackDown tag titles. They retained there, so, that was all right. A couple of other tag matches that are not worth discussing, except maybe the return of John Cena, which we haven't seen John Cena around in quite some time. He showed up and debuted that new, what does he call that, the lightning strike?
There's some weird... He was on Jimmy Fallon last night, and he has a name for it, some weird Mandarin name. I can't remember it. But it has some kind of name. Fun fact, Jackie Chan actually taught him how to do it because that's who he's doing his movie with.
Yeah, that's pretty funny. But it's just so ridiculous of a finishing move nowadays.
It really is.
I mean, it's just like the Superman punch. It's dumb. You can't really take it serious. And I guess I don't really expect anything less from John Cena because, none of his moves are really like lethal or like deadly, maybe not the right terminology, but you know what I mean compared to these other moves like the curb stomp and the RKO and things like that. But he debuted that move. He fought for like a minute, 2 minutes?
Wasn't much.
Not even that.
And besides his move, he also debuted a brand new hairstyle, which everyone loves.
A lot of jokes on social media about his hair being compared to JBL. It's just funny stuff. But yeah, I mean, I've never seen John Cena with hair like that. It's pretty weird.
He said he's growing it out for the movie role he's in, and he said he plans on keeping it. So let's see what it turns into.
Yeah, I mean, hey, who knows? Maybe he likes it. I mean, I don't know. I mean, we just met John Cena yesterday at a book signing at Barnes & Noble's in New York City. Great guy. I mean, he is just tremendous. He's just so cool, so chill, so down to earth, such a genuine guy. And I didn't say anything about his hair, but it was pretty weird to see him with a full head of hair, and it's pretty long. It's longer than you think. So I don't know if he plans on cutting it after he's done filming the Jackie Chan movie or not. Mm-hmm. But it's not like John Cena's around a lot nowadays, anyway. So we're barely gonna see him. We're probably gonna see him at the Crown Jewel is the next time, and then probably the Royal Rumble and WrestleMania and things like that. But yeah, other than that. Becky Lynch, Charlotte Flair, SmackDown Women's title. That was a big-time matchup that I was really looking forward to. It ended in a disqualification. Charlotte got the win. Obviously, she doesn't get the title as a result of that. But Becky hit her with the belt, which caused the DQ.
Yeah, and, if you watch that match, it was different than their normal matches because Becky didn't use her traditional moveset. Mm-hmm. She used a lot of, I kind of describe it as like a heel moveset. Yeah. A lot of punches, a lot of takedowns, a lot of, cheap shots. Things like that. So you could tell that she's really embracing this heel character, even though technically she's not a heel because the fans love her.
Yeah.
But she's really embracing this, bad chick kind of role.
Yeah, well, we said this last week. I mean, she's really, really embraced it. And has taken the ball and completely run with it. So hats off to her. And I guess, it's all on her now to try and get the fans to boo her. No matter how hard she tries, it probably won't work. But, I mean, that's what she has to try and do. She has to try and be hated the best that she can. So by doing that, I guess that's her objective, even though I don't think it's going to work. But a lot of people didn't like the finish, didn't like the ending. I didn't really expect anything less, though, because I knew the feud was going to continue.
Yeah.
So, to me, the finish is fine. But either way, she holds on to that belt. And then, obviously we'll get to SmackDown in a little bit. Match of the night for me, by far. The Cruiserweight Championship match.
Oh, definitely. I mean, Buddy Murphy getting the big win in his hometown.
Yeah.
Those fans were going nuts when he won that title.
Absolutely.
And well-deserved. I mean, he's putting on, I mean, not a lot of people watch 205 Live, which is a real shame, because he's putting on 5-star matches every single week.
Yeah.
And these are like insane matches. You can't even describe them to somebody. They just have to watch them.
Yeah.
And I really hope that this shows that, maybe, backstage they're taking notice of him, and hopefully eventually he can move on from 205 Live, maybe do something on the main card or NXT or...
Yeah, well, see, this is the thing right here. So Cedric Alexander had this belt since WrestleMania. Didn't really do anything with it. Defended it a couple of times on 205 Live here and there. Defended at SummerSlam, retained. But it wasn't like, the greatest title run. I mean, not many title runs these days are. And Buddy Murphy's is probably going to be the same exact thing as Cedric Alexander's. But right now, Cedric Alexander is going to go and do nothing on 205 Live. He's just... He had his chance. He had his title reign. He's not going to do anything now. Just like TJ Perkins, first ever Cruiserweight champion. Where is he now?
Yeah,
he's irrelevant.
I don't even think I've even seen him on TV in months.
Yeah, and if he has been fighting on 205 Live, which I don't know because I don't watch every week, but he's not doing anything of importance. He's not fighting for the championship or anything. So the same thing is going to happen with Cedric Alexander, which is why I feel like a guy like Cedric should now move on. It should be like an NXT. 205 Live should be like NXT. You eventually can move on to the main roster, like we're seeing Leo Rush transition now into a manager, transition him onto the main roster. It just doesn't feel like it's the main roster, and I don't know what's going to happen to Cedric now. But aside from that, big congratulations, like you said, to Buddy Murphy, a guy who has really worked his butt off to get to the point that he's at right now. I mean, this guy couldn't get TV time for the longest time. Yeah. He was in NXT, Blake and Murphy tag team, won the NXT tag team title, but has not been seen other than live events. He's just been doing nothing. Debuted on 205 Live. He's got a great look. The guy's jacked out of his mind. His moveset's ridiculous. He's an outstanding talent. He deserved that belt, and I'm glad they gave it to him in his hometown because that's something that WWE has had trouble doing, is giving titles to people in their hometown.
I think it's, this is one of those things where you're going to really start to see how much talent WWE has just sitting there doing nothing. I mean, I saw on Twitter last night that Mike Kanellis, debuted on 205 Live.
Yeah.
That is a guy with so much talent that, honestly, his talent might just, be discovered now for some people.
Yeah.
And it's a shame that the guys are sitting in the back, this guy, like the jobbers, or we call them jobbers, but at one time they were the hottest thing in NXT, the hottest thing on the indies, and now, they just don't even get seen.
Yeah, I know. It really is sad. So, who knows? Maybe a change is coming. I don't know. But either way, it's nice to see a title change happen like that. And, those two absolutely stole the show. And I'm not surprised whatsoever. Those two have tremendous chemistry. It was off the charts, unbelievable match, and a great moment for a hometown guy like Buddy Murphy. So what else happened on this show then?
AJ Styles, Samoa Joe. I think it was a great match.
I did too.
I thought that it was a great match, and what I loved was from the beginning was when Samoa Joe, because the entrance ramp was very long for that show.
Yeah, it was like WrestleMania.
Yeah, so a lot of people, like Samoa Joe, got half an entrance, and then by the time he was halfway down the ramp, they started AJ's entrance, and when he heard AJ's music, he just stopped, and he turned around and looked and stared at him, and AJ saw him, took the belt off, took his vest off, and they ran full speed at each other and just started the brawl, which I think is exactly what these two guys have to do, because if they legitimately hate each other, they got to show that, and that's a great way to show it, that they're not waiting for no bell, no referee, no nothing. As soon as they see each other, they want to go at each other.
Absolutely. Also, too, for those of you who are watching on Facebook Live, thank you so much for watching and tuning in on the Ram Nation Radio app. As always, John Grande, shout out to him, good buddy of mine. Thanks for always supporting and watching. He comments on our Facebook stream, says Murphy has the Cruiserweight belt and Alexa Bliss. He's the luckiest man on earth. I definitely
double champion
agree.
right there.
Yeah, I mean that guy just wins at life. I mean he really does. It's pretty funny.
And even when he loses that belt, he's still winning. So.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, I agree, John. He is the luckiest man on earth. He is goals, as they say. But yeah, going back to AJ and Samoa Joe, I agree. Great match. The ending though, how it ended with Samoa Joe tapping out. You a fan of that?
No, because I don't know, because you're gonna try to make Samoa Joe look like this big tough guy and then have him tap out. I mean,
just with the way the feud's been going, how personal it's got, how Samoa Joe looks like the bully, you know? He looks like he's bullying AJ's family. He's really getting under his skin. For him to tap out like that, I didn't like it. Mm-hmm. I think they should have done, I guess they didn't want to do a bunch of disqualifications since they had, Charlotte and Becky go to disqualification. Maybe that's why they didn't do like a DQ or something like that. They wanted to give the fans a finish, which, okay, I get it. But I think I don't know. I think AJ beating him clean would have been better than him tapping out, because it looks like he just quit in that sense. At least if AJ gave him the phenomenal forearm, or heck, even pull out the why am I blanking out on his finishing move? Styles Clash. That would have been even better.
Or an even better finish would be, I don't know, maybe AJ or Samoa Joe takes the turnbuckle pad off, referee turns around to put it back on, AJ hits him with a cheap shot, and then beats him like that. That way, you're still getting the clean victory, but it's not really clean, so that doesn't diminish Samoa Joe, and it keeps the feud going.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of possibilities that they could have gone, a lot of roads they could have done besides tapping out.
Yeah, I wasn't a fan of that, but we'll see where they go with that. The Shield defeated Braun Strowman,
Whoop-de-doo.
Dolph Ziggler, and Drew McIntyre. We ended up seeing it on Raw again.
Yeah.
Let me face it, though. There's no denying those 6 men absolutely kill it every single time that they're in there. I mean, the matches are so good. I mean, the match on Raw was just tremendous as well. So there's no denying that whatsoever. But, I don't think it was a big shock that the Shield picked up the win, right?
No, this was, when you look at this show, it's kind of, you'd always look at it as like a house show where a lot of the faces are going to win because they want to make the crowd happy. And, like I said, there's no point for Strowman, Ziggler, McIntyre to win, because this going to, none of these matches make any sense. They have nothing to do. I don't even know what the storyline is or what the final ending is.
Who knows at this point?
So I think that giving the Shield the victory obviously is the go-to, and hope.
And that was that.
Let's hope and pray of a day that they're not versing each other anymore.
Yeah, probably in 2019, because I see these two teams feuding all the way until the TLC pay-per-view, which I think now is in December. So we'll see. Buckle up if that's the case. And I think that was it for the undercard besides the main event, right? On the big time matches.
Real quick, there was Daniel Bryan versus The Miz for number one.
Forgot about that one. Because how short it was, maybe.
Yeah, it was a 10-minute match, so it's easily forgettable.
Yeah.
I read that was due to possibly, the potential. They thought that Daniel Bryan could have maybe been injured from what we talked about last week with the headbutt with Shelton Benjamin.
That's what I thought too. At first,
if you think about that, it's kind of scary that that they have faith in him. They're putting their trust in a guy that they can't even trust to go out and wrestle for more than 10 minutes.
Yeah.
I understand that it's just for a big time match at Crown Jewel. But if this, The Miz is sticking around in the storyline, even though he lost the match, he's sticking around the picture, which I hope that down the line leads to a triple threat match, Daniel Bryan, AJ Styles, and The Miz for the WWE title. And, I just don't know, it's hard because I love Daniel Bryan. I'd love to see him have a championship run. But it's going to be hard for them to put stock in a guy that is injury prone.
Yeah.
And
they're not going to be able to trust him moving forward.
Yeah.
And I did read, though, that they want to try and do something with Daniel Bryan. They want to change up his moveset. They want to have him win by small package now. That's what they want to try and get him to do, is win all these matches with the small package. It doesn't hurt Miz in that way, which that's why I didn't mind that finish in this match. But yeah, why it was so short, it could have been because of they needed time for The Undertaker and Triple H in the main event. Maybe they got short on time. Who knows?
I think that, instead of the small package route, Daniel Bryan was a submission specialist back in Ring of Honor days. Why doesn't he do that? That would be great, have his finisher be submission moves and a very, ground game type style. That way it avoids contact on his neck.
Yeah.
And it's still, still the Daniel Bryan we know, so.
It's true. It's very true. I was very shocked to see him pick up the win, actually.
Same.
I really was, because, Miz and AJ Styles would have been so great, because, Miz, obviously, the red-hot heel, and AJ Styles, a big baby face. Now they're doing two baby faces together. it's not weird because it is a dream match to see those two guys go at each other especially for the WWE Championship.
Mm-hmm.
I really hate the fact that it's going down in Saudi Arabia. I mean, it's a
Yeah.
WrestleMania type match right there.
I mean, but we saw that match in New Orleans the night,
Yeah.
2 nights after Mania, SmackDown after WrestleMania, and it was a great match. I mean, having me on the edge of my seat the entire time. And yeah, like you said, if they're giving all these great matches to, I mean, like I said, I don't want to be the jump on the bandwagon of complaining about stuff, but like it is annoying that they're Saudi Arabia's getting this match because look, I don't know what the ratings are, and I can't speak for anybody, but I really don't think people in Saudi Arabia are tuning into Monday Night Raw every single Monday night.
Yeah.
I mean, I just don't think that's the way it is. I feel like
I don't know how it is over
Yeah,
there, to be honest. I don't even know what to think about how the fans over there think of like pro wrestling. Like
Yeah.
I don't know.
I
But
don't-
I mean, they're living in the Attitude Era days, but so I guess I don't know. I don't know why they're giving this match to Saudi Arabia and wouldn't just have The Miz win. I guess because The Miz has beaten Daniel Bryan in this feud before, so they didn't want Daniel Bryan to lose again. I don't know. Either way, it's a dream match, and there's no denying that Crown Jewel card is stacked from top to bottom as of right now. I mean, they only keep stacking it even more. But I'm excited to see those two. I just don't know if this is a long-term feud now or if it's just a one-off just for Crown Jewel, because if that's the case, Samoa Joe is done in the title picture, and obviously from him tapping out, I mean, you could assume that he's done in the title picture, but where does he go from here too, So
I mean,
it's
it's
just
the
like
same thing same boat that Shinsuke
Yeah.
fell into when he lost to AJ Styles 5 times and
Yeah.
trying to go for the title. And it's a shame because I mean, Samoa Joe would have a great title run, and hopefully, let's hope that this match at Crown Jewel leads to an even bigger match at WrestleMania, hopefully involving The Miz, maybe involving Samoa Joe too. Hey, they'll make it a fatal 4-way. Why not?
Yeah, that's what I would do, honestly. Put Styles, and maybe, who knows, maybe they will do that. I mean, they got some time now before the Crown Jewel.
I think with these big shows that they're doing overseas and seeing the reaction they're getting,
Mm-hmm.
I think it's going to make them stack WrestleMania up. I mean, I already read reports
hope
that
so.
Shawn Michaels is going to have a big time match at WrestleMania.
Yeah.
The Rock could be there at WrestleMania. Rousey's going to be doing big things. So I mean,
Mm-hmm.
maybe it is good for WrestleMania.
I mean, if that's the case, then I don't mind these shows, and I won't talk as down as I have been about them. But until I see that, I hate how they put so much effort into shows like this, and then when it comes to WrestleMania time, they just do a half-assed job. To me, it's annoying, and I know money talks, but again, these fans in Saudi Arabia and Australia, I think, deserves it.
Australia has good
Yeah,
fans. They
but
overseas like that, but
Saudi Arabia, they don't deserve these kind of cards over the U.S. The people like us.
or even honestly, instead of Crown Jewel in Saudi Arabia, go to the UK. Those fans deserve good wrestling.
they do.
I wouldn't mind that, a great card in the UK. I mean, I don't know. Though, there's nothing we can do about it.
Yeah, so no
Might
point
as
in
well
complaining.
move
We do
on
get
to that.
we do get enough, so I guess
Yeah.
let's not be spoiled here. But all right, main event time: Undertaker, Triple H. Last time ever, as I try and get my air quotes here into the live stream.
Last time ever. Can we talk about how many names they've had? They've had literally streak versus career at Mania 27. They had end of an era at WrestleMania 28. Then they have now it's the last time ever. And
Yeah.
like, how many more? Like, see, WWE they backed themselves into a corner with these big names. Remember The Rock and John Cena?
Yep.
First time. What was it? Once in a lifetime.
Yeah, once in a
And
lifetime.
it
Then they
happened
did this the
next
year
week.
after.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I know. That's what they do. That's this WWE for you. But let's hope this is the last time ever, even though we now know it's not the last time ever that those two will interact with each other in a match. But maybe one-on-one, that'll be the last time ever. Let's hope so. But what did you think of the main event overall? I mean, I think everybody knew what we were getting. Obviously, these guys are past their prime. We know Triple H can still go, and if this match was going to be good, Triple H had to be the one to carry The Undertaker through it. Started out pretty good, then kind of went downhill from there.
Yeah, I mean, you can tell both their ages caught up to them
Yeah.
very quickly. I mean, Undertaker started off very hot, which he does in all of his matches. I guess he's got all his energy.
Yeah, of course.
He's doing old school off the top rope and things like that. But you can just tell as the match went on how sloppy the moves got, especially when they were going through the crowd and Undertaker's dragging Triple H, and they're kind of just hobbling with each other. And then he tries to pick Triple H up. And I think Triple H actually went for like a pedigree or something like that.
Yeah.
And then he falls down, and they were like falling all over each other.
Yeah, well, Undertaker got gassed very, very, quickly, obviously. That's why his match at Mania 34 was so quick with John Cena because, he didn't get a chance to be exposed. Obviously he looked great because he fought for 10 minutes and he could do that. He can't go 30 to 40 minutes anymore. He just can't. And, I don't blame him, obviously, because age catches up to you. But, obviously WWE putting him in these spots, they should know that as well. But the big thing that went down after was, Triple H got the win. Not really surprised. And then, all four of the guys, put their hands up in the air. Good moment. And then The Undertaker and Kane turn on Triple H and Shawn. Undertaker chokeslams Shawn Michaels through the announce table. And basically sets up what we found out on Raw, that the tag match is imminent at the Crown Jewel event. DX versus Brothers of Destruction. Nothing we didn't already know. I mean,
if you've been watching wrestling for any good amount of time, you can predict this stuff miles away.
Yeah, of course. Of course.
Not hard.
Brian Sendek, another good buddy of mine, comments on the Facebook live stream. Last time ever? Wasn't a certain match at Mania 28 dubbed the last time ever? Yep. Yeah, exactly, Bri. I know. That's exactly what we were saying. It's just like they throw out these, slogans and things like that just to market their big matches. But it's a joke. It's a joke.
And speaking about big throwing these slogans, when we talk about Evolution, there's another slogan that they're throwing out there. First time ever. That's not the first time. They love to just get these things out so they can promote it. But they got to think do we ever want to do this again? Oh yeah, maybe. So let's not promote it as the last time ever.
Right. I mean, again, that's what they do, and they think we forget about these things just magically. We don't have a...
Well, I mean, just look at DX. How many times has DX reunited since me and you started watching wrestling?
Yeah, I know.
I mean, when we started wrestling, that was when DX was a normal thing.
Yeah.
That was like the reboot. It's just Triple H and Shawn Michaels, which was good. It was funny. DX wasn't as the back in the day.
No.
And then they came back. What was it? It was Raw 1000. That was just a one night thing. But how many times Shawn Michaels and Triple H and they brought up DX? I feel like it's been 4 times since then.
No, I know it really has, and this time that they're reuniting it for, I think a lot of people don't care this time because of what it's for, because it's for Saudi Arabia and people are just getting sick and tired of it.
If it was for Survivor Series, I think people would be on board. And be getting excited for it.
I mean, they would be a little bit more excited than they are in this case, but either way, we're getting that. But that was the crown, not the Crown Jewel. God, I'm messing up all these names here because they shove it down our throats every week for 3 hours. But yeah, that was the Super Showdown in Australia. Glad it's over with and done. Again, wasn't the worst event ever. Was not worth waking up at 5 a.m. But a couple of cool things did happen. And now we move on to Crown Jewel in Saudi Arabia on November 2nd. But let's talk a little bit about Monday Night Raw from this past week, which I thought, Nick, was a very, very solid episode of Raw. I'm not going to say it was amazing. It was the greatest episode ever because we know that they could do a lot better. Mm-hmm. But with the current state of how Raw is right now, the current state of the product currently, it was one of the better Raws we've seen in a while.
Yeah, and I mean, like I said, I'm not harping on it, but it is funny that one of the better Raws of the year relied on wrestlers from the past showing up. Kurt Angle, Triple H, Shawn Michaels, Undertaker, Kane. I mean, and there's only one other big part of the current day superstars with Ronda and the Bellas. Yeah. But it just shows how they're stuck in the past. They really are.
Yeah, and it's sad that they don't rely or they can't trust the current crop of talent that they do have on the roster to put on a good show. I mean, they raided the independent scene, Ring of Honor, all these companies of all their great talent. You know how much talent they have on their roster? It's probably the deepest roster I've seen ever. And they just don't know how to use it correctly, so they have to bring back these guys like Triple H, Shawn Michaels, Undertaker, Kane, Trish Stratus, Lita.
Kurt Angle.
Yeah, they have to bring them back in order to get, a good show going, and it shouldn't be the way it is.
I mean, like I said, they need to go take some lessons from NXT, because NXT is literally making these amazing shows and amazing cards with literally people straight out of the independent scene.
Yeah.
So who really rely on their current talent. And NXT doesn't bring people back. I mean,
but you know what? The one thing I did like about Raw, even when they brought back these guys, everything on Raw. I mean, not everything, but for the most part, everything had to do with what storyline's going on right now. Triple H, Shawn Michaels announced, they're coming out of retirement at Crown Jewel. That obviously has to do with the storyline, which is, very heavily focused on Raw now. You had Trish and Lita coming out because of Evolution in a couple of weeks. You had Kurt Angle coming back because he's in a feud with Baron Corbin. Now he's back from vacation and all that kind of stuff. So, like, everything kind of made sense. Like, everything was moving with the current storyline right now, and it progressed it a little bit. That's why I liked it. That's why I thought it was an important episode, I guess, of Raw. Like, it wasn't, if you missed something, like, if you didn't watch this week's Raw, you'd be like, oh, wow, Kurt Angle came back. Oh, wow, wait, there's a tag match at Evolution now? Oh, wait, Shawn and Triple H announced to come back. Like, you would have missed things. Mm-hmm. Raw last week, Raw the week before, you didn't miss a damn thing because nothing happened. So at least things actually happened on this episode of Raw. So, yeah, like I said, in the beginning, Shawn and Triple H came out. Let's talk about Kurt Angle coming back. So Baron Corbin comes out. And there's going to be a World Cup at this Crown Jewel thing. I don't even know if they explain the World Cup, what it even is.
No, I mean, I feel like they watched one episode of New Japan, the G1, and was like, oh, well, let's have one of those.
Yeah,
and then...
or they were watching too much actual World Cup soccer. And they just, let's steal the name from that. That's cool. But anyways, yeah, they're going to have some type of match at the Crown Jewel. And Baron Corbin comes out with these jobbers, basically independent talents, all dressed in weird ways. And Kurt Angle is... the Conquistador, or whatever it was,
something
dressed up in like this
in an all gold like one-piece suit.
Yeah, and I didn't even know it was him at first. I really didn't. I was scrolling through Twitter and somebody said that's Kurt Angle. Then obviously when he started doing the angle slam and suplexes, it gave it away. But a shock to me because usually you hear on the dirt sheets on the websites that Kurt Angle's coming back on Raw. He's backstage. You didn't hear any of that. At least I didn't.
Yeah, no, I didn't hear anything like that. I mean, and it was a decent way to bring him back. I mean, if they would have just his music hit, it would have been cool. But like, that got a very big pop when he took that mask off. He got a really big pop.
Yeah, I mean, he was in Chicago, so that crowd's always great in Chicago. So, I mean, I thought that segment was pretty good outside of like the joke that it started out to be. At least it ended with something meaningful. It meant something. It wasn't like the Bobby Lashley's sisters segment, which accomplished absolutely nothing. We get Kurt Angle back now, so we'll see where this goes. Is Kurt's back under power now? What is this leading to? Not the greatest storyline, but again, at least we're seeing storyline progression, which is what I like. Another thing that happened was, like I said, Trish and Lita coming back. They changed an Evolution match, 2 Evolution matches. It was supposed to be Alexa Bliss and Trish Stratus and Lita and Mickie James, and now it's a tag team match. Trish and Lita versus Mickie and Alexa.
Yeah, I don't know how I feel about that. I mean, I understand that. I mean, I was reading that this was the plan all along. That they only did the other match kind of just to boost ticket sales, which I mean, I think is a little messed up because you just think that somebody bought a ticket excited to see Trish versus Alexa Bliss, and now they don't get to see that. I think that they took away 2 very good matches. Yeah. And that would have been 2 fire matches on Evolution.
Yeah, totally. I was looking forward to seeing Trish Stratus go one-on-one in a match. Like, I've never seen Trish wrestle live, like, one-on-one like that in a singles match.
Especially, too, Lita one-on-one. I mean, Lita's an amazing wrestler, too. I really think that, they dropped the ball on this, that they could have easily had 2 separate matches. They would have been great in their own right. Yeah. And now they're doing a tag match, which I don't even see the point of the tag match. I mean, I understand Trish and Lita, but when they were back in the day, they feuded with each other. They really didn't tag with each other a lot.
Yeah, I thought, I don't know. I thought maybe the reason for this was because Alexa Bliss is injured, which, she was rumored to be for a little bit, and maybe she can't work a singles match. But Dave Meltzer, according to him, he said this has always been the plan. It's a tag match, and they only announced Alexa versus Trish for ticket sales, which is dumb. It's a dumb move. It's basically a scam because you're advertising a match. It's not even going to go down.
Yeah, and just think with the pace that they're announcing matches for this show, they just turned 2 matches into 1. Yeah, and now they're right. Last week we said they had 3 matches. Now they're they're still at 3, even though they announced another match.
Yeah, because they merged 2 matches into 1. I still think it's going to be great to see Trish and Lita in action. Oh, so definitely. I'm still trying to get excited about it. But yeah, the switch has me a little bit disappointed. But overall Evolution is going to be what it is. It has no hype to it. I hope they start building a little bit more and more. They did start with Ronda Rousey and the Bella Twins, a rematch from Super Showdown the Bellas and Ronda versus the Riot Squad. And Nikki Bella turns on, well, Brie Bella too, both Bella twins turn on Ronda Rousey finally. Good heel turn by the Bellas.
Yeah.
I think they did a nice job with that heel turn. I know you said it was a little sloppy. I didn't notice that. I thought for the most part it was pretty good, the beatdown on Ronda, but leading towards Nikki Bella versus Ronda Rousey, which we knew. Mm-hmm. A lot of people not happy about that, but it is what it is.
Yeah, I think that, everyone, going back to my point I said earlier, if you watch wrestling for any, even a short amount of time, you can predict this stuff a mile away.
Yeah.
And I think we all knew that it was leading to this match at Evolution, which, good for Nikki, good for Ronda. Mm-hmm. It will probably headline, be the main event. Mm-hmm. And, and honestly, probably down the line, we'll get a Bellas versus probably Ronda and Natty match, maybe Survivor Series.
Yeah.
So... Like I said, I don't expect Nikki to win the belt. Actually,
no,
I don't even think that she's going to. She's not. So I'm not worried. Ronda's going to retain the belt, and
yeah, I'm not worried about that either by any means. And I'm just going to accept it as the main event because what else are we going to do at this point? You can't revolt, you can't riot. We have tickets to the show. We're going either way. Mm-hmm. But yeah, that match is going to be what it is. It could be good. Who knows? Nikki Bella. At least it's not Brie Bella versus Ronda Rousey. It's Nikki Bella. Who's obviously a lot better. So who knows what type of match we're going to get between those two. Obviously, with the Bella Twins being the big stars in the women's division besides Ronda Rousey because of Total Divas and things like that, it makes sense marketing-wise, business-wise, to have the baddest woman on the planet in Ronda Rousey versus, one of the most popular women's wrestlers that WWE has in mm-hmm. Nikki Bella. So it makes sense from that standpoint. Obviously, it's not what the Women's Revolution is, though, because Women's Revolution, when I think of that, I think of Sasha and Bayley killing it at NXT Brooklyn, the first one, and things like that. All the women's matches in NXT. I don't view it as Ronda Rousey and Nikki Bella, a marketing scheme, basically, just, to generate some buzz and money.
Nothing against Ronda. Obviously, we all know that she's not... she helped the women's, revolution because, she brought a big name to the, division, but she didn't create it. No. And honestly, the Bellas have been there for a while, and they've done a lot for it, but I think there are other wrestlers that have, but that have done more for the Evolution. Honestly, in a big match on Evolution, Charlotte versus Becky, which everybody, I agree, should main event. That's mm-hmm. the last woman standing match. Yeah. But it won't, but because, ESPN, they want ESPN to pick up on, Ronda's main eventing this show.
Right.
Sports Illustrated, Bleacher Report, they're all going to pick up on it, which is exactly what WWE wants.
It's all it's about nowadays is the headlines, basically. Yeah. And that's what they want. So from a business standpoint, it makes sense, but not for us fans. And then nothing else really happened on Raw that's really buzzworthy. Like I said, the main event was The Shield and Braun Strowman, Dolph Ziggler, Drew McIntyre. Another solid match between those two teams, but this time Drew McIntyre getting the win for his team. And Dean Ambrose walking right out on the Shield at the end, too. Yeah,
I think that, I feel like they're going to tease this heel turn so much that when it actually happens, it's not even going to be anything buzzworthy.
No, I wouldn't say that. I think they're going to tease it so much to the point where it's not going to happen, and then when it does happen, it's like going to be when you least expect it. That's what I think is going to happen because I don't think he's turning heel in 2018. I think it's going to drag into 2019 around WrestleMania season because I think they want to do Rollins and Ambrose at Mania, and they want to right that wrong from last year. So I think when it does happen, it's going to be a good moment, but I don't expect it anytime soon. And they can keep teasing it, but when you least expect it, it's going to happen. That was Raw. Very solid Raw from Chicago this past Monday. And whoever wrote the show, please, more shows like this because I enjoyed the heck out of it. I really, really did. So on to SmackDown Live, which I also thought was pretty good last night.
Yeah, definitely. Started off, you got Becky Lynch and Charlotte. They had an insane match, very hard-hitting match. Ended with Charlotte spearing Becky through the Jumbotron, which I thought was a really cool touch. A great way to end it, without having anybody get, a pin. No one submitted, no one... technically, it was a double count out, so no disqualifications, no nothing. So it was a great way to go.
Yeah, I thought it was a great opener. Obviously, starting red hot with those two. Mm-hmm. They obviously have the great feud going on. That was a tremendous ending with Charlotte spearing Becky through the thing. And then it sets up a last woman standing match at Evolution, which I think is a great stipulation. Yeah. I know a lot of people wanted a steel cage match, but let's be realistic now. Some things we're just not going to get. We're not going to get a steel cage match at a pay-per-view like Evolution. That's just not what it's about. Last woman standing is perfect. It makes sense with the current feud. But as you were saying before, Nick, first time ever last women's standing matches.
They love saying that. Yeah, they're saying this is the first ever last women's standing match, which is basically, I mean, a giant FU to Asuka and Nikki Cross, who had an insane last women's standing match in NXT, I believe last year.
The summer of 2017, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that match, if you've never seen that match, I recommend going on the network and try and type it in and find it, because it's insane.
Yeah.
Probably one high up on the list of top NXT women's matches.
Not even just the fact that it was an insane match, just the fact that, like, it happened.
Yeah.
So, like, how do you say last time ever? You're, like, disrespecting those two women and making it seem like NXT is just irrelevant and it's just non-existent to you when it already happened.
Yeah, I think that they have to stop promoting all these matches, especially when it comes to the woman, as first time ever. They had
stop putting that down our throats.
The first ever women's Money in the Bank, first ever women's Steel Cage, first ever women's Hell in a Cell. It only proves how long WWE has like oppressed women and like not let them have these matches. Like
pretty much.
I guarantee in December the first ever women's TLC match. Oh yes, that's another thing they wouldn't let them do.
Yeah.
Like I did think that they just need to promote these I mean, like, next year, or this year, for Money in the Bank, they kept promoting the women's Money in the Bank. Like, we shouldn't have to be like, we should be like, yeah, I'd expect them to be in I expect them to be in a TLC match. I expect them to be in a Hell in a Cell match. Not, they have to promote it and shove it down our throats.
The next thing that what they're going to do is have a women's table match and be like, first time ever women's table match.
Yeah,
meanwhile, it happened with Lay Cool, Natalya, and Beth Phoenix back in the day. That's just another thing that popped into my head. I'm like, yeah, they're definitely going to do this someday down the line.
Well, I mean, that's how Becky Lynch won the title off of Alexa Bliss in a tables match.
Yeah, oh yeah, okay, yeah, so that one too. Yeah, I mean, it's just like obviously WWE has to know that these matches happened before. Maybe they just really think we're going to forget about it. And deep down, they know we're not, but like, maybe for the new audience, the new generation, maybe they think, it's last time or first time ever, whatever. I don't know. I'm just getting sick and tired of hearing about it, but that's besides the point. And then what else happened on SmackDown?
Yes, I mean, there wasn't a lot, but The Miz had his Miz TV. Obviously, he had Daniel Bryan and AJ Styles on it. And, of course, The Miz, obviously, spitting the truth, spitting facts. And, honestly, The Miz is the best on the microphone in the entire company, and we all know that. One of his best lines was, talking to AJ Styles, and he said, "You want to know why the WWE Championship doesn't headline pay-per-views? Take a look in the mirror."
Yeah.
And, I mean, and that's nothing against AJ Styles. I mean, obviously
it's not his decision.
That's just Miz's words. But it's a shame that title doesn't main event pay-per-views. Yeah. And I think the Miz. I think the Miz, once he gets that belt, is going to do wonders with it. He's going to have.
I hope so. But again, like you said, it's not AJ Styles' fault. And And if the Miz gets it, it's not like he's gonna like he has no say in it being the main event, But I think he's going to try his best if he ever does get that belt. But AJ's trying his best too.
But see, the Miz is capable of elevating matches. I mean, just by his mic skills. I mean, he turned at WrestleMania 33 his match, Miz Maurice versus Nikki Bella and John Cena, a match that when it was announced, we were all like, really? Like, this is a match? And then, both by his mic skills, the videos he made, the knockoff of Total Bellas, like, he made everybody want to see that match and made it a very hyped up match. He has the capability of doing that.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Miz is a star. I mean, as of late, he's just been on fire, and that's why I would like to see him get the opportunity for the WWE Championship over Daniel Bryan. But hopefully,
it'll come.
Yeah, it's coming. Hopefully, and hopefully he does become the champion at one point. I really, really hope so. I saw the Big Show returned on SmackDown in the main event against Randy Orton. Right? Was that what it was? Was it
the main event?
Maybe
there was two World Cup qualifying matches. Randy Orton and Jeff Hardy both qualified for the tournament, which is funny because it's a World Cup tournament and all four people already announced are all American. I saw that on Twitter. Yeah. And it's pretty funny.
Yeah, and Brian Sendek too comments that they're all American and half of them are part-timers, which again, that's what they want. That's what Saudi Arabia wants. They live in the Attitude Era, so they want guys like, I mean, look who's in the World Cup. Kurt Angle, John Cena, Randy Orton, Jeff Hardy, and Rey Mysterio announced for SmackDown 1000 next week, coming back to face Shinsuke in a World Cup qualifier. I can already tell you, Rey's going to win that match. This is basically WWE of back in the day. That's what they are literally just living in the past. And that's what it is, and that's why they're stacking it like it's a WWE show from like 2007, 2008, even going back a little further than that. But you get my point. But yeah, it's just funny how they are all part-timers and old wrestlers of the past. But like I said, that's what they want to do. Money talks, and that's what Saudi Arabia wants. So that's what they're gonna give them.
Yeah, let's just hope that they repay the favor at MetLife Stadium in April. So
yeah, let's hope so. But yeah, Rey Mysterio coming back, SmackDown 1000 next week.
Yeah.
So it looks like a pretty good show with Evolution being announced and Rey coming back. And I'm sure we'll get some other surprises too.
Yeah, I read today that Edge is announced. He's going to be doing. He's going to be hosting the Cutting Edge.
Right.
I mean, I expect a lot of moments like that. I'm sure, someone's gonna. I can't think. Maybe the Miz will come out, interrupt him, and then he'll hit a spear on the Miz just for old time's sake. Like, it's gonna be a lot of the nostalgia moments. But,
yeah, but it'll be cool to see. It'll be like Raw this past Monday. A lot of nostalgia and a lot of throwbacks. So it'll be a fun show. Absolutely. All right, so that's basically the WWE programming for the week. Another thing I want to touch on is New Japan Pro Wrestling. We had a great show this past Monday. It was King of Pro Wrestling. And another great show. A lot of things going on. I mean, a lot to digest from this New Japan show on Monday. You had a new member of LIJ, Shingo Takagi, who we mentioned last week. If you watched the show last week, he was the guy from Dragon Gate who had his final match over this past weekend. Heavily rumored to be the new member of LIJ. He was revealed as that new member. A pretty good reveal. And right off the bat, I could tell this guy has some serious talent. Obviously, he's been around for like a decade. I'm not familiar with him because I haven't watched Dragon Gate. But right off the bat, I think this guy's going to fit in well. It's good to see him in New Japan. So I'm excited.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny, like we said, too, last week, he fits in well with LIJ.
Yeah, just by his look.
I mean, his looks, he looks like, like an LIJ member, and I'm excited, Like I said, I love there's not many wrestlers that I see nowadays that I've never seen before. Yeah. And he's one of them, and I'm excited to get to watch him and really, start to appreciate him.
Yeah, absolutely. Another big thing that happened, Chris Jericho came back. He's done it again, attacking Evil. Before the match even began, it was supposed to be Evil versus Zack Sabre Jr. The match never went down because Evil's entrance, he had like these druids like The Undertaker had in the past with his entrance. And Chris Jericho actually dressed like one of them. Gave away the reveal because of him wearing the Intercontinental title and whatever he was wearing, the gown he was wearing like came up or whatever, and like you could see the Intercontinental Championship clear as day, and obviously like the mask wasn't that big to begin with
so
either.
You kind of see his like ponytail.
Yeah, so you could tell it was him. Everybody knew.
I mean, kind of expected it was gonna be him.
Yeah, I mean he took a while to take off the mask though.
Yeah, I just love this role that Chris Jericho's in. The fact
he's
that,
loving it too.
You never know where he's gonna show up, when he's gonna show up, and how he's gonna do it. Mm-hmm. I see, like you said, he can go do. It wouldn't shock me if he did a Fozzy show, then hopped on a plane to Japan, then hopped back for Bound for Glory. Like he's literally he just shows up where he wants, when he wants, and I think that's a great role for him right now.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, 100%, and I'm excited to see him versus Evil on November 3rd at Power Struggle. It should be a good match for the Intercontinental Belt. So good stuff there. Another match that went down was Switchblade Jay White. Obviously becoming a big star in New Japan, facing Tanahashi for the briefcase. Did not get the briefcase, obviously. Tanahashi retained via the small package. But after the match, a huge angle went down. Huge angle. Yep. Gato comes out. He was already out at ringside. But Jado comes out. And, Okada came out to make the save after Jay White was going to attack Tanahashi. All of a sudden, the BCOGs come out. Tama Tonga, Tonga Loa, Taiji Ishimori, Bad Luck Fale, and they start beating down Okada. And all of a sudden, Jay White slips into the ring, and now they're together. Jay White is Bullet Club after all.
I mean, it really is cool, the fact that we're not seeing Jay White, throw up, the firing squad, BCOG's, too sweet version of it. And it's funny because, obviously, if you've been watching for a while, you've seen at New Year's Dash, Kenny Omega tried to offer Jay White a spot in Bullet Club. That was obviously before this whole split. And then afterwards, too, there was, during the press conference, Tama Tonga, he's even said, well, maybe the wrong person recruited him. Yeah. Which just goes to show you how far New Japan's got this stuff in their head.
It's crazy. Like everything eventually comes together in New Japan. Yeah. Even if that wasn't the plan long term, they made it the plan somehow, some way. It all came together. And, obviously some people don't like the long-term storytelling and things like that. But it works for New Japan. And Mario Martinez says storytelling at its finest. That's just New Japan in general. They just, the storytelling is just off the charts. It's crazy good.
And I'm excited to see where do you see this going? I mean, obviously we know that it's looking like it's going to be Jay White versus Okada at the Dome on January 4th. But even after that, do you think that what do you think Jay White's in? I guess I was gonna call it firing squad. Or, what do you think he's in for? I mean,
I don't know. Well, here's the thing too, and Howard comments on our Facebook stream as well. Says no need for Jay White and Gato in the BCOG. That was my first reaction. Is why? I think Jay White is so good on his own.
Yeah.
Or
especially with Gato.
Yeah, with Gato. That's what I mean. He's so good as a star like that he doesn't need to be the leader of a faction like this. And like it just doesn't. I mean. Does it really make sense? Like, I think we need an explanation from Jay White. I didn't see his backstage comments, so if he did give an explanation, I missed it, so I'm going to have to go back and watch it. If anybody did see it, comment on the Facebook stream below. But, yeah, that was my original thought, too. Why? And I'm not going to judge because it was a pretty cool moment.
Yeah,
like,
it was really cool.
As much as I didn't think it made sense and I didn't think he needed to be there, it was a cool moment. There's no denying that. But I'm curious, like you said, to see where it goes. This could be the new Bullet Club, which I think is. I think Kenny Omega, Cody Rhodes, the Young Bucks, Hangman, and Marty should form, the Elite. Like, they should be the Elite.
Yeah,
that's the faction they should be. No more Bullet Club affiliation.
Right now, they're the Bullet Club Elite. Throw Bushi in there, and they're the Bullet Club Elite. But I think I agree with you. Just drop the Bullet Club, give Bullet Club, because Bullet Club should be a heel faction.
Yeah.
And obviously, nothing against the Bucks, Cody and Kenny. They elevated Bullet Club to the level where it is today. But I think maybe actually not. I was gonna say this is the WWE part of my mind having a match for like the rights of it. But this is New Japan we're talking about.
Yeah.
They're not gonna have a naming rights match.
No,
stupid like that.
They would never do that.
But no, I think eventually the OGs firing squad should get the Bullet Club name back.
Yeah. I mean, like, and then a lot of people complain too, BCOG, Jay White's not an OG. Yeah, obviously, he just joined the group, so he's not an original.
Yeah.
I get, neither is Taiji Ishimori, and he's involved in the group. I think the BCOG thing just basically stands for, like what the Bullet Club originals like Tama Tonga Tonga Loa stand for, like they are Bullet Club since day one and they don't care about anything else. Like that's what I think. Jay White never cared about Chaos. Clearly, he was in the Chaos faction, never really cared about it. He was just in there, just to like kind of break up the group. And I mean that's what I think the BCOG is labeled as.
Yeah, but I'm not gonna look at Jay White and I'm not gonna if he comes out, I'm not gonna be like, oh, they're the OGs. I think of when I think of the OGs, I think of Tama Tonga. Yeah, right now the God Tama Tonga Tonga Loa.
Yeah.
That's what I think of when Fale with the OGs. So I'm just going to think of it. He's just Jay White. To me, he's just going to be Switchblade Jay White.
Yeah.
And I think he's not going to switch his character, nor his name, nor anything. He's going to stay Switchblade Jay White.
No, he should not change his character. It's tremendous.
I don't see him coming out with a Bullet Club shirt or a Firing Squad shirt. He's going to stay with his, Breathe with the Switchblade shirt. He's his own. Just like when he joined Chaos. You don't see a Chaos patch on his sleeve.
Yeah.
I mean, he's his own guy.
Right.
He walks to the beat of his own drum. So.
Yeah, so like I said, we'll see where it goes with that. Obviously, Wrestle Kingdom, big pay-per-view coming up, so you would have to assume it's Jay White and Okada since, from what happened. But I'm glad Tama Tonga goes back to like being in a faction with the leader because him on his own, it was getting a little stale having, them interfere in the G1 and stuff like that. So they definitely needed to have a leader of the group. Just him being the leader wasn't working. So Jay White being the leader, it could be good. We'll see where it goes. Then the main event was awesome between Kenny Omega, Kota Ibushi, and Cody. Kenny retaining the title, no surprise there, but a very, very good triple threat match. I was curious to see how this was going to go down because obviously they're not accustomed to triple threat matches in New Japan, but I thought it was really, really good.
Yeah, no, I think all three men really worked well. I mean, I'm sure, even though, triple threat match was not accustomed to New Japan, these three guys obviously have been probably in their fair share of them, so it wasn't anything out of the usual for them to work, so I expected nothing less than the best from them.
Yeah, absolutely, and like I said, Kenny Omega winning is no surprise. It solidifies Kenny Omega versus Hiroshi Tanahashi as the main event for the Tokyo Dome, January 4th. Great main event there. I think, obviously Kenny has faced Okada more than once, and it's been done. And I think, if they want to do another match down the line, just wait a long time before you do that again. One thing I love about New Japan is they don't oversaturate things like that. They take their time and they let things play out. And now Tanahashi versus Omega is a match that we haven't seen in a while. I think the last time we actually did see it was back in 2016 when Kenny Omega beat Tanahashi for the vacant Intercontinental Championship when Shinsuke Nakamura had to vacate it because he left for WWE. That's the last time we've seen these guys wrestle each other. If there's another time, maybe it was in like a G1 or something, but I don't think so. And I could be wrong. But either way, this is going to be a fantastic main event for the Tokyo Dome. I love it.
Yeah, no, I'm definitely excited. You know, Wrestle Kingdom's obviously such a big event. And I think these two guys are going to kill it.
Yeah, absolutely. So, yeah, that was New Japan King of Pro Wrestling. Great stuff from New Japan as always. You know, whenever they have a big show, it's just awesome. I mean, what more could you say? It's great stuff. If you're looking for an alternative to WWE, definitely check it out on New Japan World. It's where it's at. They have the Junior Tag League starting next week, and then Power Struggle November 3rd, where Chris Jericho returns, and then Wrestle Kingdom on January 4th, which is going to be, like you said, a great event like it always is. Got 10 more minutes left on the show here, and I want to finish talking about Bound for Glory. Impact Wrestling, Bound for Glory, biggest pay-per-view of the year for Impact Wrestling this weekend, this Sunday in New York City at the Melrose Ballroom. We'll both be there in attendance.
Yeah, if you see me and Ryan there, you know, say hi. We'll chat, talk wrestling. We love, you know, we met up with a couple people who watch our YouTube channel before that, you know, and just love to sit there talking wrestling. So definitely, if you see us there, you know, say what's up.
It's going to be a great show. Impact Wrestling has been on fire lately. Even though I haven't been watching it every single week, I'm up to date with things that are happening, and they have a great card for this Sunday. Only problem I have with this Bound for Glory is it doesn't feel like the biggest pay-per-view of the year to me, especially because of the venue and how, like, you know, small the venue is, but it's not the biggest event of the year in my opinion. Like, it just doesn't feel that way, and maybe because it's Impact, who knows. But either way, they have a great card on hand, so we'll go over some of the matches and give some of our thoughts on which one we're looking forward to the most. So Matt Sydal and Ethan Page, and he's going by Ethan Page now. Very hot free agent wrestler on the independent scene at the moment. Debuted in Impact as Chandler Park not too long ago, but he's back as Ethan Page now. I'm glad he's under that name. Yeah. It's a tag team match, so those two are teaming up against Rich Swann and a partner of his choosing. So that's probably going to be like an opening match on the undercard. I couldn't even tell you who Rich Swann would be picking as his partner. I really don't know. I don't know if it's going to be somebody that's just in Impact and is hurt or we haven't seen in a while, or if it's going to be somebody debuting, somebody new. I don't know, but either way, it's intriguing stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I like you said, I can't picture anybody big being his partner. Probably just somebody that already in Impact.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, like I said, it's going to probably be opener match, and this isn't that big of a match on the card, so they wouldn't, you know, if they were going to have a big debut or a big return, they would save it for something a little bit bigger.
Yeah, absolutely. Eddie Edwards versus Moose, singles match. Obviously, they have a rivalry going on if you've been checking out Impact Wrestling. Tessa Blanchard versus Taya Valkyrie. Tessa is the Knockouts champion. She'll put her title on the line against Taya. An OVE rules match, Ohio versus Everything. Dave Chris, Jake Chris, Sami Callihan taking on the team of Brian Cage, the X Division champ, and then Pentagon and Phoenix, the Lucha Bros.
Definitely looking forward to that one.
OVE rules. I mean, God, that's got to be insanely hardcore. I mean, you know how good, you know, OVE is and how extreme they get. This is going to be just an unbelievable match.
Yeah, and I'm going to make my prediction right now. This, I think, is where Chris Jericho, if he's going to be there, this is where he's showing up. To maybe attack Sami Callihan. I know back, you know, they had some beef going on, you know, a little while back on Twitter. Yeah. So I think if Jericho is going to show up, it's going to be either during or after this match.
Yeah, I can definitely agree. And the fact that it's a stipulation match, Jericho can interfere and the match doesn't have to end. Yeah. So, I think that's definitely a possibility. LAX, Santana Ortiz, and Conan, who's actually wrestling for the first time in a long time, versus the OGs, Hernandez, Homicide, and Eddie King, Stin. And it's a concrete jungle death match. And I don't know if you saw Impact Wrestling's Twitter.
Yes, I did.
They revealed the rules for this concrete jungle death match, and I questioned what it was too at first. And I was like, wait, what is this going to be? Is this just going to be like a death match type of thing? And they just made it concrete jungle because it's New York City. But they're going to expose the wooden boards underneath the ring. So they're going to take off the matting or the padding or whatever you want to call it. So it's just going to be them fighting on wood, right, in the middle of the ring. And then they're taking off the turnbuckles, too. So very, very interesting stipulation match that Impact came up with here because I'd never heard of it before. And I think this is definitely something new that they're introducing. And very, very excited now. Yeah. Very excited.
I mean, I'll give it to Impact is probably, the best at coming up with new matches. I mean, they're always coming up with new, match type stipulations and things like that. And I think this is going to be an insane match.
Absolutely. Match. It's going to be so great to see. So really, really looking forward to that. So it definitely adds some more intrigue knowing the rules now and gets you hyped up for it.
I'm just wondering is how they're going to do all this. Like how are they going to have to, during a commercial break, they're going to have time to, disassemble the turnbuckle pads and everything and then put them back for the main event. Like,
gonna do some backstage interviews and show some video packages to get this all prepared. But yeah, either way, that small little venue is just gonna be going nuts. It's gonna be insane. The atmosphere is gonna be electric. I can't wait to attend. And then the main event, Austin Aries defending the Impact World Championship against Johnny Impact, who I refuse to call by that name. But I'll call him that for now. Who do you think's winning this main event?
Who I think will win, who I want to win are probably two different people. Yeah, I think Austin Aries is going to retain, but I want Johnny Impact to win only because of the shit that Austin Aries did on Twitter. Going at Johnny Impact's wife, himself, and him. It was uncalled for, and honestly, it was kind of disgusting. So
yeah, it is. I actually think Johnny Impact's gonna win here. I think this is his big moment. I think Austin Aries has been the champion for a while. He's been the top guy, and he'll continue to be the top guy. But I think Johnny Impact has earned this. He's they've built him up, and he's one of the most popular stars in Impact. So I think he wins this main event and wins the World Championship as the show goes off the air with him holding up the Impact title in the air. So I think it's going to be a good moment for him and well-deserved because he never really became a big-time champion in WWE, so he definitely deserves it. He's one heck of a talent. So that's the Bound for Glory card. 6 matches on the card. So does Chris Jericho show up, yes or no?
Yeah, I'm going to say yeah. I read something that said that Impact's got him, basically penciled it on the card already. So like I said, my prediction, let's see next week when we should get back on the air if I was right, that he'll pop up in the OVE rules match.
Yeah, I think definitely he's going to debut as well. Who knows how long he'll stick around in Impact, but I heard he could do a couple of shows here and there. Obviously, if he shows up, he'll be at the tapings. So it's going to be a lot of fun and really, really surreal to see Chris Jericho in Impact Wrestling, man. I never thought this guy would fight for any promotion other than WWE. Then he showed up in New Japan. I was like, okay, this is pretty cool. Then he said he would never wrestle in the U.S. to, just to respect Vince. And then he was like, you know what? That's it. It's, obviously not going to happen. And obviously went to All In, wrestled there, had a change in heart. And, why wouldn't he show up in Impact Wrestling, right? It's been red hot. And him and Don Callis have the connection. So, I mean, that's pretty cool. Only got a couple of more minutes here, so let's just go over a couple of other things. Charlie Caruso started working for ESPN this past weekend. Great for her. She's living the life. WWE and ESPN at the same time. WWE supposedly changing the Survivor Series format. What do you think about the Raw and SmackDown stipulations?
I think that I like the old school format of it. The Raw team, SmackDown team. Now they want to do probably Team Angle versus Team Corbin. But like I said, they got to adjust everything.
Yeah, I think I like the Raw versus SmackDown format, but I wouldn't mind if they went back to the traditional way, which is what it's rumored to be. WrestleMania next year, not 2019. Rumored to be in Minnesota. Ugh. Yeah, is a good word to wrap this up on. Not a good location for WrestleMania, in my opinion, just because of the weather. But who knows?
Like I said, the only thing Minnesota has is a cool football stadium and a giant mall.
Yeah.
So besides that, there's not much to do. It's not a good, tourist city. So.
Yeah, not really thrilled with it, but obviously that's the rumor right now, and an announcement is imminent towards the end of the month, they said, so we'll see what happens with that. That's all the time we got right now on this week's edition of the Wrestling Radar. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in, as always, whether you're watching on Facebook or the Ram Nation Radio app, or if you're watching on YouTube right now as we download it. Thank you so much to everybody that continues to support and get involved in the live stream and everything. This is great. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram at the Wrestle Radar, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Got a lot of good stuff on there. And like I said, thank you guys, as always, for supporting, and we'll be back next week.